Hey guys, Holly Oftedal here. I'm with Bruce Schmidt's Highland Genetics, and today we're going to talk a little bit about chute systems and cattle working facilities and why that infrastructure is so important to anybody's cattle operation, no matter the size. Now I'm going to take a little walkthrough of the whole operation, the whole setup. So Bruce, why don't you tell us a little bit about your operation here before we go through the walkthrough?
Sure. So we built this operation about 1.5 years ago. Prior to that, our operation was outside. In Minnesota, having an operation and a setup inside is significantly better. We can close the door, we can throw in a heater in here, and it can get pretty warm in a moment's notice. Also, we're not pushing snow around, we're not digging around. The cattle are a lot calmer. It's just a little bit easier working in a nice facility, especially in the winter. I'd also say in the summer, we use this facility all year round. In the summer, you're in the shade, you have access to water and all the wonderful things that you can have. Right behind our facility is actually our heated room. It's our plumbing room. We use it where we keep all of our heated vaccines. We have all of our stuff that we need to treat any of the cattle that we need. We have a cooler inside there. Down the road, we'd actually want to turn it into a working lab for embryos and extracting that, so that there'll be a door right through there where they can go to that clean lab and take care of that from there. When we're walking through this, our facility is actually grouped out in 6 paddocks out here where we winter all the cattle. Right now it's summer, everything's out in the pasture. We got a lot of weeds growing out there, but everything from our paddocks and all of our different lanes flow right down to this facility. So if we want to push a cow out or push a group of cattle in, we can easily do that, maneuver it, and put them right through the working facility.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, Bruce, so we're in your alley leading up to your chute system. Can you walk us through the process that these cattle are going to be seeing?
Sure. So right behind us, this is actually a small area barn. You can see we got Misty in there. She just had a calf about 2 days ago. When they first calf and they're all, we keep them up tight close to the area. We put them in a small barn, feed them a little hay. I know it's in the summer, but I want my calves up close. And we keep an eye on them for about a week. Then after that, we kick them back out into the pastures. So all these barns and all of these different chutes and all of the different lanes that we have, everything flows back to this run central point. And this is the point where we can load cattle and we can work all of our cattle. So if you look down, I know it's hard to see because we got a lot of weeds, but this is where we winter everything, and it all flows back down. Once they're in this tub system here, or I guess it would be more like a square box system, we can swing that gate, swing this gate, and then they're going to flow down into the alleyway where they would enter into the barn. Okay. All right, so now we're standing in the alleyway. The barn's behind you, so we're flowing down in this alleyway. This alleyway is exactly 12 feet wide. And I did that for a few reasons. I can take a 9-foot or a 10-foot panel, I can strap it on the front of a skid steer, and I can push cattle if they're not being nice to me. I can get behind it, and I'm always worried about protection and safety when I'm working cattle. So as we flow down, we can walk them down into the chute system. We can actually lock groups up. We have 3 different panels behind you where we can lock multiple groups and stage cattle, so that way when the vet's here, we can keep them flowing through here. We're not having to slow things down by removing cattle up.
And I see you got some continuous fence on the sides. What made you choose that over something else?
The continuous fence panel is a pretty good panel. It's a little cheaper than the freestanding panel. I like the continuous panel because obviously I don't need electric, so it's going to be better in the winter. You don't have to worry about anything getting shorted out. You can see here on this side where we actually work cattle, I got it doubled up. That's to keep, if I have cattle in this actual holding sterile and here, they can't touch each other as much, so they're not going to fight. Because a lot of times you have new cattle run alongside new cattle, they're going to want to fight or work out their issues.
Okay.
So as we flow down, once we have them behind this area, we can grab this panel and we can swing it all the way in.
A little bit of a tub to bring you into the shed.
And it'll lock right here. Now, as you can see, I'm standing where the cows would be. However, when the working area, with the working ranch hand, they're going to be standing on the other side of the panel. So once they shut this, they can now open this gate and go out and walk around the chute system. What that does is it keeps you away from the cows. You're always protected. And that's the goal in this system. Does it?
Okay, so once the cattle get pushed through the tub system into the shed, there's another tub system that pushes them into the alley. Can you walk us through that, Bruce?
Sure. All right, so once they're in here, we usually bring in a group of about maybe 5 to 10, and then we can load them into the double alleyway. We'll walk through that here in a little bit, but let's say we have 5, 10 cattle standing here. You can just take this red gate and walk them down. Most of the time they'll usually run through that alleyway chute. However, if they are getting a little unruly and they don't want to walk through that, we have it set up so we can take this gate here and this gate, and we can actually walk them down to here, and then we can swing them all the way into the alleyway from that system.
Okay, Bruce, so cattle are through the tub and into your bud box. Can you walk us through your alley system a little bit?
Yep, so now they went from the bud box over into the double alleyway. This double alleyway has backstops, so once they go through it, and believe it or not, a cow will always want to push through this. They'll lift it up, and then it drops behind. You can see I have that one all the way up. The chains make it adjustable, so if you have a calf in here, you can drop it down, or you know, a regular full-size cow, you can lift it up a little bit, so that way they're more easily to go through. This system is also adjustable, so if we go on here and slide it over, you see I can slide to the other side, but we can actually narrow it down quite a bit. That way if we've got small calves, we can narrow it out, otherwise they're going to want to try to turn around inside this. Okay, so they get in here, they're stuck behind the backstop.
Okay, Bruce, so I see that your alley system is open panel all the way down. It's not solid. What's your reasoning behind that?
Yeah, there's pros and cons to it. The pros of it are, obviously you can look in, you can see the cows as they're walking through. If there was a solid wall and you're standing on the other side, it's a little difficult. Also, if they're not wanting to walk down, I can take a bar and I can wedge it against here and I can push them. Whereas if it was a solid wall, I don't have that capability. Specifically between the two lanes, you definitely want to keep that open because that way the cows can see each other, they can smell each other. That helps a lot better. I don't know. I guess I go back and forth whether or not I would line this with a piece of steel. I maybe think that if I did do that, I'd probably still leave some open holes or cutouts so that way I could still get in there if I needed to. I would line it with a piece of steel because it does help with their horns sliding through this area because they do have a tendency to get caught, especially right here on this one. Okay, so now we're on the other side, right? So this is the cows. Behind this is our backlock gates, and then we've got our single alleyway divider. So what will happen here is as the cows funnel forward, this here will just slide back and forth. So as one cow's coming through this lane, this is shut, so that way only one can go through. When this thing opens and that thing shuts, it's almost like a subconscious thing for a cow because the gate opened, and then the next one's just naturally going to want to walk up. So it works pretty well, that swing gate there. Once they're in there, they're going to step up into this area. This is my single lane. It's also a scale. So as they're walking through here, they're standing on here. Usually it's just one cow standing here. We got my scale that we can plug in, and we can weigh them as they're walking through this facility right here. All right. Okay, so now we're standing into the actual chute. Behind us is the scale. One thing that I do plan to add to this system is actually going to put a curtain door here so that I can block it from one cow coming up behind the other one. What I do today is I actually open up this panel here, and I shut it this way once I've got them on there, so that way I keep those cows from coming this way towards me. But you can see that this here has the pelt gates on both sides. So we have a gate here, and we have a gate over here. And then the side gates actually work in unison with each other. So this one opens this way to that side, and the other gate opens the other way. And I did that on purpose, so if I have to access either side of the animal, I can get to it from both sides. When I designed this chute and had them make it, I asked for one single solid bar all the way across here, okay? I'm gonna come out and I wanna step out and I wanna show you that. So if I pull this lock bar out, which most of the time I leave that out, you can see there's only one bar all the way across. That's to allow their horns to slide through. A lot of times you see chute systems where they have bars going this way. When you do that, they can't walk through. So I had them build that, actually remove some of those bars and beef this up, so that way I didn't need vertical bars. So pull these out, they can walk right down through. The other thing that's really important for Highlands is some gates, head gates open this way, almost like a door panel, right? You're going to want to make sure you get the curtain style. That's going to be this like this, opens up all the way to the side. What that does is allows them to get their horns through. When you have those gate panels that swing like this, they can't get their horns through as easily. It does have to make sure, you have to have quick reflexes with this to catch a cow though, but it's actually a lot easier for them. It's a little bit safer for you, and if you miss them, you just push them back through again.
Okay, Bruce, so we walked through your chute system. Can you tell us a little bit about what happens once you're done processing cattle?
Sure. So as you can see, from this chute to that door is about 8 to 10 feet. Now you would say, well Bruce, don't the cows just run all over the place? No, they don't. Because if you shut that overhead door right there, and this is the only door that has daylight, they will always run to the daylight. So the reason that I like this is you can get around, you can get in front of the cattle, you can work with them here if you still need to, and it allows you the ability to be able to back up and hook up to this trailer if I need to. So as we walk this way, the other thing that we did in this system is now we're in another holding area. This holding area actually reattaches to the alleyway that's right here, okay? So if they happen to slip through the head gate, or you didn't get them worked out, or something is wrong, you can just run them right back through the alleyway and push them back in through the chute. So this is like that last catch-all in case something jumps through, because we've all been there where the cow jumps through and you didn't expect it. All right, so now we're in our last catch-all pen. That's the one where we were standing over there. We're standing over on this side. The way that I designed this is right behind me is the roads that goes to all of my different pens. Now if I wanted to get in here and I wanted to put some large equipment, I set this up so I can just open this gate, this gate, now I can take a tractor, I can take my equipment, I can drive right down into the lanes.
Okay, Bruce, so we talked a little bit about the benefits to having your chute system under a roof, but I see you got some calving pens back here. Can you walk us through why you like all that being connected?
Sure. So behind us here is our calving pens. We actually have some calf pens over on one side and calving pens on the other side. All of these calves, or all these doors actually swing open into this chute system, so we can push them back through over there and work them back through into the chute system from there. So if we have a mama that has issues or a cow that we need to be treating or keep them close, we can put them in this pen and walk them through over here.
All right, Bruce, well, thank you for walking us through your setup. This is a pretty big system. Maybe not necessarily something that everybody needs, but the infrastructure is what's important and the safety is what's important. Right. Bruce, can you go into a little bit more detail about why you like this setup for your operation?
Sure. There's a couple other things that I'd like to point out before we get into some of this stuff. One, when you're building a cattle working facility, the most important thing you want to think about is safety. And I know everybody will tell me, my cows are docile, wait until they have a calf, right? My cows are really nice, wait until they get spooked. Or they just don't want to be in the area that you're in. Because they're big animals and they do have horns, and you need to make sure that you're being safe. Not only safe for you and your family, but safe for your vet. The first time I started with Highlands, I had a vet come out and I had not a very good cattle working facility. And we got put in as a couple different positions with my veterinarian there that were a little scary. Now nobody got hurt, but I know that my vet kind of gave me that look and that wink like, I don't know if I'm coming back. And I thought to myself, I need to make sure that I make it safe for them. You always want to make it safe for your vet, because the day that you need them to come, you want them to come without hesitation to help you, because those are the times when you need them to show up. Couple other things that I wanted to just talk about. This chute system here. This chute behind me, this whole thing actually cranks up. I have two wheels. This is just one as a demonstration. This actually slides into a pipe on the back, and you can see we got a winch behind it. It hooks up, and it actually cranks up like a fish house. So that's really versatile. We hook up to the hitch, and we can pull it out and take it right out to the pastures if we need to. Couple other things you should always have with your working facility: a rattle paddle. These things are really nice. They're just trying to move some cows. You can swat at them, spank at them. It also makes you a bigger object when you're trying to move them. The other thing I would recommend is a fiberglass pole. These things are a lot lighter. They're a lot more flexible, or stronger than a piece of steel, but they're also going to give a little bit from flexibility standpoint. The nice thing about this is about half the weight of a steel pole, but it's about as strong as a, maybe a half-inch pipe. So it's really good, especially if you're going to be working cows. You can put that behind them. You can block them up to protect them, protect yourself, and from maybe getting kicked or whatnot, especially if you're standing behind the cow.
And Bruce talked a little bit about your chute being portable and how efficient that is and how nice it is that you can just pick up and move your chute to wherever you want to go. But why did you pick a chute with an OB gate and the sides that slide out versus just a head gate?
Sure. So behind us in the barn, we'll get to that here in a little bit, is where we calve animals out. To have the OB's gates on the side, the OB gates are the small gates that the veterinarian can, or the AI tech can stand behind the cow and get to. Those are really nice, so that way you can protect them as well. These side panels come in handy, especially if you have to do some veterinary work to the side of an animal. The other thing where they come in handy is if you have a calf that's not nursing. You can lock the cow in here, you can swing that side panel over, you can get them right up to the udder and make sure that they're nursing and get them latched onto that mama.
Okay, Bruce, thank you for showing us your chute system today. I think it's worth reiterating the fact that, this doesn't need to be what everyone needs to do. And Bruce, I'm sure there are things that you would change with your system, or things that you would do differently.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say that this thing has changed every year. And I would say that I'm probably going to change it every year afterwards. There's always different ways that you can improve it, different things that you want to do. My purpose of this video was to just give you some ideas, some things that I've learned over the past, different things that have worked, some things that haven't worked for me, and just really kind of open your eyes to maybe some different ways that you can work your cattle in the future.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you.